Hey guys, it's Kingdom Orange 2 here, and welcome back to my channel. Initially launched in 2015, DC SuperHero Girls is a franchise that was created through a joint partnership by Warner Brothers Consumer Products and DC Entertainment. Wanting to fill a hole of superhero toys being marketed mostly towards boys, DC SuperHero Girls was created to target younger girls in a way that was less misogynistic and more female empowered. Throughout its almost 8-year history, DC SuperHero Girls has launched a wide variety of products from action figures to TV shows to costumes and more. So I thought for today's video I would touch on the franchise's history, talk a little bit about their toys, explain the reboot, and infer as to why I think DC SuperHero Girls was a failure. Also, before we go on, if you wanna, feel free to check out my Instagram and TikTok pages. It's the same username for both, and I love chatting with all of you. So with that being said, let's get on with the video. The cartoon. DC SuperHero Girls was initially a series of webisodes that aired on YouTube beginning in October 2015. In this animated universe, many famous DC characters attended a boarding school known as SuperHero High in Metropolis. The high school's main purpose was to train the teenagers of today through a variety of courses to master their skills and become the superheroes of tomorrow. Most of the webisodes featured a gag per episode format and focused on short plot lines, such as Wonder Woman having to design a new supersuit, or the girls playing around with new high-tech accessories. And usually, a common reoccurring theme in the webisodes would be selecting a new hero for each month. What was interesting about DC SuperHero Girls was its portrayal of usual villains in the DC comics as good guys in the series. Harley Quinn, Frost, Poison Ivy, and Star Sapphire all attended the school, and Amanda Waller and Gorilla God served as both the principal and vice principal of SuperHero High. Another thing I wanted to point out is that typical to a lot of children's superhero cartoon shows, most characters were never really seen in or identified by their civilian outfits or names. The only character who is widely known by her alter ego was Batgirl, aka Barbara Gordon, who started out as one of the members of the IT department before becoming a superhero. The webisodes continued airing for 5 seasons until the end of 2018. During that time, DC SuperHero Girls also released 3 films, which would typically focus on larger plots, such as who would be given the next Hero of the Year award. Now, around 2016, the toy company LEGO also started airing their own animated shorts on the DC SuperHero Girls YouTube channel. The character designs and voice actors were the exact same as the webisode series, and they went on to create 2 LEGO animated movies. As much as superhero shows aren't really my thing, I really enjoyed a lot of the plot lines they had, especially in the movie Intergalactic Games. I also love seeing voice actors return to reprise their roles from other shows, like Hayden Walsh for Starfire and Tara Strong for Raven. Even the LEGO movies were entertaining, besides them being written by another editor. Fun fact though, Shay Fontana, the scriptwriter for most of the webisodes, will actually be the co-executive producer for the new Monster High TV series. Toys. The first toys created for DC's SuperHero Girls were launched by Mattel in 2015. Included in the lineup were 6-inch action figures, tech toys, and most importantly, dolls. Each doll stood 12 inches tall, and since they were marketed as action figure dolls, they had multiple points of articulation and were able to remain upright without the use of a doll stand. Interestingly enough, according to an article published by Bloomberg, when the first run of dolls was shown to their target audience, they critiqued the dolls for being too pretty to be superheroes, and that their bodies, especially Wonder Woman's, was just too skinny. Taking those comments into mind, the design team used the body of gymnasts, dancers, and basketball players to serve as their inspiration for the dolls' new physique. They also wanted their dolls to be more muscular than other fashion dolls, but less provocative than other female action figures. After the main line, Mattel continued releasing new dolls. Some lines were strictly budget. They would typically have each girl with short hair, no articulation, and molded on tops and pants. Others were centered around a theme, like the Masquerade and Roller Derby dolls. Finally, there were dolls with gimmicks, like the Transforming line, which featured Starfire, Wonder Woman, and Supergirl, who changed from schoolgirl to superhero by realigning their skirts and tops. At the same time as Mattel, LEGO released their own play sets. They made about 12 of them, and these sets used LEGO Friends style mini doll figures rather than the traditional LEGO minifigure body. LEGO also released figurines not just based on the superheroes, but for the villains as well. Now, I'm not sure as to why this happened, but in 2017, Jakks Pacific also created their own dolls for the franchise. The first line featured the girls as toddlers, and the second one, which was exclusive to Toys R Us, was a redesign of the original Mattel dolls, but instead of each character being 12 inches, they were 18. So here's my problem with these dolls. The simple fact is most superheroes typically have only one signature outfit. Mattel knows this, and they came up with multiple lines of dolls where the character's main outfit could be slightly adjusted to fit the theme. For example, there was a doll line called Comic Classics which featured Batgirl and Harley Quinn in outfits that look closer to their comic book counterparts. But here's the thing, doing this over and over again starts to become really boring, and when you have 15 Wonder Woman dolls, they all start looking the same. Now, I believe Mattel could have fixed this in two different ways. The first is that they should have gone with more generic doll lines. Like, why was there never a beach or winter line created? I would have honestly loved to see Poison Ivy in some weird flower bikini. The second thing they could have done was just released more characters. There were so many girls in the cartoon that never got dolls, like Catwoman, Miss Martian, Lady Shiva, Raven. DC Comics already has a ton of characters to choose from, so why didn't they bother picking one of them? The Reboot. In 2019, the DC SuperHero Girls franchise was rebooted, and a new television series premiered on Cartoon Network in March of the same year. The show initially begins with Barbara being the newest student at Metropolis High. She suspects that something is off with some of the girls who attend the school and decides to start a food fight. This causes her, as well as the other girls, to be placed in detention where they meet Wonder Woman. The students begin to fight and expose their superpowers to each other. Wonder Woman offers to train them, and in return, they show her how to be a normal teenager. The girls then choose their superhero names and costumes, while Wonder Woman adopts the civilian name of Diana Prince. They become a team and call themselves the SuperHero Girls. Like the 2015 series, the show uses a gag per episode format and follows the girls as they try to balance their high school life while at the same time being superheroes. What's interesting about this show is that the superheroes and supervillains actually attend the same school but are unaware of each other's civilian identities unless they are close or part of the same team. For example, Harleen Quinzel and Barbara Gordon were best friends but are unaware each other are Harley Quinn and Batgirl. The 2019 series also changed a lot of the characters' voice actors and personalities. Some characters' personalities were completely changed like Supergirl, while others had personality traits dialed up like Wonder Woman. The show also had way more of a comedic tone to it, almost to the point of complete immaturity. There was one episode in which Batgirl gets embarrassed after farting during a school assembly, and she and Barry Allen go back in time to prevent it from happening. Now, shockingly, the show is not as terrible as I thought it would be after watching the trailer, but it still reeked of the overt juvenileness that a lot of Cartoon Network shows are known for. To coincide with the release of the new cartoon, Mattel also released newer versions of the dolls. The first line of dolls they created consisted of all the main characters in their superhero outfits. Similar to the 2015 dolls, they were also able to stand on their own and had muscular bodies. But they did have a lot less articulation, were a little cheaper, and came in smaller packaging. They also later released Harley Quinn and Catwoman, which were exclusive to Walmart, a 5-pack, a Batgirl and Ace the Bat-Hound doll, and a line called Teen to Super Life, which featured Supergirl, Wonder Woman, and Batgirl in their civilian and super outfits. These dolls were a bit more expensive than the main line because they featured 2 outfits, more articulation, and accessories. And at the 2020 Toy Fair, they did show a prototype of a Poison Ivy doll, which would have been exclusive to Target. And even though she does have an official stock image, I couldn't find any proof that she was ever sold in stores. And similar to Poison Ivy, there was a plan to release a Burrito Batgirl, Zatanna, and civilian Jessica Cruz doll, but there is again no proof that anyone bought these dolls. Now, the show has aired for 2 seasons, with the final episode of season 2 airing on October 24th, 2021. Later, in May of 2022, there was a crossover movie between them and the Teen Titans Go called Mayhem in the Multiverse. And while the show has yet to be officially cancelled, there are a couple of reasons as to why I think it has. First of all, I found it odd that their YouTube channel hasn't published a single video since 2021. I've also noticed a decline in ratings from the first to the second season. And finally, there are some significant plot points that occur in the movie, such as Harley Quinn turning good and switching teams, and Wonder Woman joining the Justice League. At the end of the day, none of this could mean anything, but you would think by now we would have some sort of announcement for the 3rd season if there wasn't going to be one. I appreciate that DC's main goal was to focus more on powerful females and not just treat them like side characters, but here's my thing. I think they could have done this without completely ignoring the male ones. In fact, I believe it would have been a better idea to call the line SuperHero High and create dolls for both male and female characters while still mostly targeting girls. There were also 2 more things that I just couldn't really understand. First, was what exactly was Mattel's role in the franchise? I would think that they would have made dolls based on DC's designs for the characters, but details from the Bloomberg article mentioned earlier also point out how Poison Ivy had a scarf that the girls thought would get in the way. So does this mean Mattel comes up with the character designs, or is it the other way around? Another thing I don't understand was why was the reboot made in the first place? Did they want to shift their focus from merchandise sales to ad sales from TV commercials? Honestly, who knows? As always, make sure to comment your thoughts down below. If you liked this video today and want to see more content in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and I will see you soon. Bye!